Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Gaming to the Max and the start of a new series on the channel in Kaiserreich, the Russian Republic, or what is the Russian Republic right now. We look to maybe do a little cheeky restore the monarchy down here. So in this timeline in Kaiserreich, the socialists and the Reds did not win in the Russian Civil War. Germany and Austria actually invaded and assisted the whites in stabilizing the region, I guess would be the best term for it, allowing for the Russian Republic to form. The Russian Republic has not done very well since then. Political strife, a lot of ineffective leadership has just kind of absolutely ruined the Republic. And we'll see a little bit more of that once we get into the game. And so, yeah, I'm sorry I've been really absent here lately, guys. I have a lot of stuff going on in my life that has put this kind of on the back burner, sadly. But I'm always here to try to play some games when I've got the time. So if you guys would like to read this, this is what I was talking about. The Bolshevik Revolution was stillborn. Lenin was assassinated, and the cause disintegrated. But I will let you all kind of read this, and then we'll just continue on. Start out with the normal research, mechanical or electronical, machining tools, construction, and we'll do the Maxim Torkrev machine guns. Alright, now civilian factories or construction. You're going to be like, whoa. Yeah, so Russia can really become a absolute economic powerhouse if you kind of start early and just build a absolute buttload of civ factories. Military factories do that. Get more tanks. We have a really, really small navy, by the way. Only have 4 dockyards starting out, which for a major power is pretty bad. Let's actually go through here and establish all of our MIOs. So infantry, artillery, support equipment, fast tank designer, automotive, the raider ship designs for all of these submarines that we're building. For my planes, we'll go with the light aircraft designer, medium aircraft designer, and then the heavy aircraft designer. Now, something that I have learned just kind of by playing, we'll do end the deadlock, since assuming function as president, Boris Semyonov's efforts at centralizing power have repeatedly frustrated by the Senate, where the opposition led by Alexander Krinsky still holds a majority, with yet another reform passed in the lower house where the NRPR holds a majority. Semyonov is hopeful that he will still be able, or will soon be able to do away with any and all opposition to his rule. Immediate effect upon focus start, its event a heated session in the Duma, effects upon focus completion, modify political deadlock by 15% political power gain and 30% stability. Put my military all in one general. It's 124 units, which is quite good in my opinion. It's quite a substantial amount of units there. And let's see. I think this is good. And the deadlock, yeah. Alright. Crank it up to 5 speed. I used to only play on 4 speed, but I found out if you're waiting for these focuses to be done and there's not a lot going on, it's much better for the videos just to get through 5 speed, because it's faster, and it's much boringer to watch me not do anything but sit here. So what we will do is we're actually going to move all of our Air Force there to Moscow, because I'm about to do something I don't usually do. But yeah, let's jump on and start. And I want to immediately build an intelligence agency. Kind of a weird thing, but it'll make more sense later on. A heated session in the Duma. The Russian Senate once again voted down President Boris Semyonov's attempt to further centralize Russia. The Act on Protection of the Republic had already passed through the NRPR-dominated lower house, but the opposition bloc, still holding a majority in the Senate under the leadership of Alexander Krinsky, blocked the law as unconstitutional. What the opposition terms as valiant resistance to increasing tyrannical attempts by the president to destroy Russian democracy, Semyonov's supporters view as yet another proof of the ineffection of Russian parliamentarism. Another waste today, lose 50 political power. Observers write of the Legation Council. When Britain's empire collapsed, the three great powers of the Far East, Japan, Germany, and the United States, fought over the British concessions in a Cold War for dominance over Chinese trade and influence. When America intervened to keep the peace, they created the legation cities, enforcing their open-door policy on Germany and Japan, both of whom desire sole access to the Chinese markets for their own gain. When the Council for the International Mandate for the Chinese Concessions, colloquially also known as the Legation Council, was created, a seat was granted to Russia because of our concessions in Tianjin, though they are currently occupied by Admiral Kolchak's Transimir. Since Transimir is an obvious Japanese puppet state, however, the Legation Council opted to delegate delegates from Vladivostok and Moscow represent the Russian nation. The situation is obviously very confusing on the ground. We are not allowed to vote on the council, but merely to observe like the British. Once we end Transimir's pretensions to be our rightful government, however, we shall surely have our voting rights restored. We deserve a voice in Shanghai. Yes, we do. Assassination of Alexander Kerensky. Kerensky's dead. The newspaper declared the chairman of the Senate, Alexander Kerensky, was shot on the stairs of the Senate building in the Kremlin. The killer was shot dead by the military police before he could make his escape. The assailant's motives will forever be unknown. Regardless, the fate of Russia has been irrevocably changed. Immediately, a flurry of theories rose. Was the assassination ordered by the president or the military, or was it generally an independent act? Investigation had been started on the matter, but it seems like the political situation will boil over before anything can be concluded. Good riddance, but this is going to give us a headache. Lose one manpower. Kerensky dies. We appoint State Duma, which gives us political power gain plus 8%, and increases world tension by 2%, or by 2. Excuse me. The opposition accuses Semenkov. The Senate, now led by Viktor Chernov, the late Kerensky deputy chairman, has demanded that the investigation on Kerensky's murder be placed under the supervision of a nonpartisan Senate committee. The statement implied that the current Semenkov-appointed police investigation is not neutral, and that the president should restrain himself from the investigation process as one of the prime suspects. And they claim to be nonpartisan, lose 50 political power, and lose 5% base stability. Massive protest breakout. Semenkov refused to budge to the outrageous demands of the Senate and instead placed the investigation under a Duma committee, mostly made up of NRPR members. There's even been rumors of starting a state of emergency for duration of the investigation. All the chaos has prompted the full might of the Russian left to mobilize in support of Chernov's demands. Thousands of people took to the street in Moscow demanding answers. Soon the demonstrations have grown in scale, even demanding rolling back many undemocratic reforms that Semenkov has passed during the past 2 years. It seems clear that socialists are behind some of it, fermenting unrest and agitating people against the terrorists of the Kremlin. The president held an emergency meeting with his cabinet and Moscow police chiefs today, and it's clear that they cannot contain the protest, should they grow even bolder. The mutinous mood has spread to even many soldiers of the Moscow garrison, so forces outside the city are needed to contain the masses. However, mass mobilization would possibly light the capital on fire, so only a limited force should be requested. Out of the options available, General Pyotr Wrangel's forces are close by, but he and many of his staff are monarchists. General Anton Dinkins may be more loyal to the Republic than he is to the president. Lastly, General Larv Kornilov may be the most like-minded of Semenkov, but his involvement might inflame tensions even more. So you know what we like, right there, monarchists. So we will call Wrangel's troops to the capital. Given his monarchist leaning, calling on General Wrangel in this moment would give him an opportunity to topple the Republic. Lose 5% stability. Is it really toppling a republic if you're restoring the rightful rulers? The Alash Autonomy declares independence. Terrible news. Our autonomous region of Alash Orda has decided to use political action in Russia to sever almost all of the ties with Russia and declare independence. While many hotheads in the general staff are demanding immediate action, ongoing chaos prevents us from responding to the treachery. It seems that we must let Alash Orda be for now. Lose 2% stability. There's nothing we can do. Oh, there's something we can do. Wrangel arrests Semenkov. General Wrangel's forces arrived in Moscow, but the politically savvy general very quickly understood the situation. Moving against the protesters would only brand him with Semenkov's enemies, so Wrangel and his closest co-conspirator elected to instead move against the president. Baron Wrangel, alongside Pavel Shetilov, Vladimir Kapel, and Michael Dronsvotsky, entered the presidential palace and arrested Semenkov on charges of murder and violating the Constitution of Russia. The coup swiftly secured control of the capital and arrested those still loyal to Semenkov in the military and the police. Lose 10% stability. Pyotr Wrangel becomes leader of the Paternal Autocrat Party. We get the Black Baron, which is plus 5% division speed and 10% stability. Politics will change. The ROVS will take power, which is the Russian All-Military Union. And change the popularity of national populism, negative 10%. Deletes the NRPR template. And I would actually like to take you guys, let's see, 960 rifles. I'm actually going to delete this just for that extra infantry equipment. And then I'm going to have you all train. Shift click. Once you shift click on that, once they all become regulars, they stop training, so they're not wasting any of your much needed infantry equipment. And one last thing before we keep going, I'm going to take all my Air Force, delete them all, come back out, put one of you, have you start training, and then we'll go over to the international market, add equipment to the market, not you, you, and then we'll price them on high, add, and then we can also maybe add, thinking about 45, ooh, not 14,000, 4,500. Price them on high as well. Add, and then we'll exit out of that. Do market options, auto accept purchase requests, because you'll have to sit up here and accept all of them. And then we'll slowly see it start ticking in right there. So Edward VIII is crowned King of Great Britain since George V has now passed away, I believe, from a heart attack. Peter Wrangel announces interim government in a radio address to the people of Russia. General Peter Wrangel has announced that Savinkov has been arrested by the military and will be put on trial for his actions. The military will maintain law and order while Savinkov's co-criminals will be found and tried. The Duma is temporarily dissolved until the new fair elections can be held. Until then, Peter Wrangel will assume function as the presence of the chief of the state. Let's hope he turns out better than Kornilov. Change popularity of paternal autocracy by 5%. Modifies political deadlock by political power gain plus 15%, plus 30% stability. And we will end the focus and the deadlock. Very nice. What we will actually do now is restore the monarchy, so we completely remove political deadlock, get some political power, so on and so forth. But we will not restore the monarchy just yet. I do want to look, how's Mongolia doing? We really want Roman von Eugen-Sternberg, the Mad Baron, to try to keep control in Mongolia. In all of the games I have played, I've actually never seen him keep power. Black Monday has occurred. The 5th Anglo-Afghani War has occurred. I don't know if it's just me, but I have, like I said, I have never, since I've started playing Kaiserreich, I played the Russian Republic, or the Russian Empire, once or twice just on my own time. I've never seen him keep power. Maybe it'd be different today. We'll actually might move our spy over there to assist him. The Austrian Empire withdraws from Italy. So now we have 10 people buying. The illusion of Queen Hegemony shatters. I don't know what they're doing. I wonder if they're placating. They backnamed Jing, so they are placating the assembly. Okay. Black Monday hits Russia. Almost 3 weeks ago, the Berlin Stock Exchange plunged into the bottomless depths, throwing Germany's economy into an unprecedented crisis. Now that shocks of the crash have reached Russia, German and Austrian-owned companies have closed down or laid off their workers. The Russian ruble is losing ruble is losing value, and resources exports are shrinking. We gain economic depression, lose 5% stability, and focus reinstitute. The Zemstva is now available. Or we can do political overhaul or bureaucratic overhaul. But I'm going to show you how reinstitute the Zemstva is actually really, really powerful. Ivan Pavlov dies. Ivan Petrovich Pavlov, the well-known Russian psychologist, died today at 86 in Petrograd. He received the Nobel Prize in Medicine in 1904 for his research on the digestive system, but he is mostly known for his works on classical conditioning. The Russian president expresses sadness and announces that his laboratory laboratory would soon become a museum. Gain plus 1% stability. Let's hope the classical conditioning works on humans. Japanese troops garrisoning Tianjin. It seems that economic woes have gone hard on the legation cities, and they have decided to outsource much of their security operations to the Japanese to keep their economy afloat. There's little we can do to stop them. There's been an uproar in the council over the shifting balance of power, and with calls for Japan to not abuse their position in the city. Worrying to say the least. Oh, they're gonna abuse it. You're the German. Let's see, you got American and Japanese influence. And it doesn't matter because they have no traits. See, over here in Mongolia, he's still keeping power. We only have 5 factories moving. Out of those 5 factories, we're actually going to start buying a little bit of rubber from the Princely Federation. Death of Pius the 11th and Oswald Mosley elected chairman of the TUC. Let's see, as the Papal Conclave even, Pius the 12th, the conservative pope. I have seen in the last 2 or 3 solo campaigns that I've played that Pope Julius has got it, which is like the national populace pope. It's very, you see it. The 9th International Congress, if you guys would like to read that, talking about the syndicalists. There's restore the monarchy. We'll run over to reinstitute the Zemstva and then start to fix our economy. It's kind of different. I'm usually more military focused at the beginning, but right now I'm 100% focusing on trying to get my economy back into the running. So once we actually start rolling, our economy is massive. Let's see, they've bought some rifles, and they've bought a bunch of planes. Perfect. Do radios. Love me some radios. Kurt von Schleichler's opponent is the Reichschancellor. Come on, Mongolia. Key, Oregon. Iran has fallen to a Republican have her start boosting the ideology there. Legation Council votes on providing aid to the Sichuan province. Southern Chinese province of Sichuan is currently experiencing a terrible famine and is struggling to save its people. They have requested the Legation Council authorize the legation cities to help them open up new sources of grain until the land can recover. Many experts on Chinese politics, however, warn that the money we send for famine relief could just go directly into the Sichuanese warlords' pockets. Let's see how this goes. Here's the Sichuan province right here, and they are dealing with a major famine. Let's do interwar artillery. If you shift click, you actually just kind of tell what you want it to be done in a sequence. So let's get the Zetsa. And I'm probably absolutely butchering the names. I'd apologize, but you guys know me. I'm not very good at the names anyway. Let's do funding frenzy. So the vote fails. Wow, you don't see that very often actually. Now that I've gotten sidetracked. Disperse industries. Really what the Zetsma does is it gives you decisions to invest in your territories, and once you get 2 or 3 more focuses done, if you do this one, and this one, these 3, It lets you, within 60 days or 90 days, get 3 either infrastructure, civilian factories, military factories. So it can heavily boost you in favor of a lot of things. So the Western Revolt, Riga's under martial law. Litigation cities voting bailout. Black Monday has left deep scars on the global economy, and particularly on the Deutsche Asiatische Bank in Shanghai, which seems to have fallen victim to unscrupulous business practices and possibly insider trading. Our delegations are now seeking guidance on how they should vote concerning the possible bailout of the DAB. First Women's Division of Death, Maria Bokharia, Colonel of the Russian Army and hero of the Veltskrieg in Russian Civil War, has recently requested the government to allow formation of the First Women Division by combining existing women battalions of death, which would later serve as a basis for formation of the Women's Corps. Accepting this proposal will surely boost the strength of our army and give significant propaganda value, but conservative elements in our armed forces, unwilling to change the status quo, have to be taken into consideration. We gain 20 political power, or we gain 2 divisions in Moscow and lose 40 political power. I'm willing to lose 40 political power for the 2 divisions. I think that's just cool in and of itself. And they start out as the veterancy ranks. So, and we will switch up their template because it's not that great, but it's cool. It'd be really cool if their officers were female, if they could mod that, but I don't know if they could or not. I just think that's a kind of a nifty little thing. The Soviet Union and the Russians in general were not afraid to use women in warfare. The nationalist populists actually seem to be taking quite a bit of political power over here in Mongolia. This is the first time I've ever seen them get that big, but it's also the first time I've ever seen him stay in power this long. So the Russo-German Study Society, the growth of international syndicalism and the threat it poses to Russia has gotten a handful of our intellectuals to look towards Germany as a potential ally. The so-called Russo-German Study Society has been established in Moscow and unites a circle of historians, writers, and politicians who all share staunch right-wing ideals. In its first proclamation, the society has stated that Russia should finally come to terms with the losses of the Brest-Litovsk and strike an agreement with Germany to reclaim the Caucasus and Central Asia in exchange for forming an anti-syndicalist axis. This Berlin-Moscow axis would be able to overcome syndicalism through sheer combined might and manpower. The society calls to abandon Russian irredentism in the West and has eroded the influence it would have over our policy. However, keep an eye on them. They could be traitors, plus 20 political power. So we're about to be back into the positives. The vote fails again. Okay, so two failed votes. Yeah, got outdated production on those boats, but that's fine. And I would actually, after all of this, like to build a couple dockyards, but that'll be away from now. Yunnan Click falls into a civil war, and Ukraine can no longer afford to buy their equipment. Maxim Gorky dies. Russian writer Alexei Maximovich Peskov, better known under his pen name Maxim Gorky, died today in Moscow at 68. A fellow traveler of the Bolsheviks, he experienced oppression of the Tsarist regime, but was quite doubtful during the October Revolution, thus avoiding reprisals after the Civil War. As he narrowly followed his son in death, many think that his sudden death could be due to the changing political atmosphere in Russia. I assure you, 68 is an old age. Game-based stability plus 1%. Could be a little bit of follow play there. Who knows? Yeah, they were buying some planes, but it looks like they will not be able to. Siam's new constitution. So we're selling to Argentina, the legation cities, Portugal, Ireland, Hungary, Flanders, Wallonia, Spain, the Princely Federation. Ooh, they're buying my rifles. And Bulgaria. They're actually the only ones buying my rifles. I appreciate you, Princely Federation. I might actually try to get the Princely Federation. They have an option to align with us, and I have never seen them align with Russia. So maybe something we can try with our spy network. We're still over here. Oh, South Africa has switched to over to communism or syndicalism. Long Yun secures power in Yunnan. Status of the Orthodox Church. Article 5 of the Constitution of the Russian Republic states that Russia is henceforth a state in which no faith or belief can have privileges and rights in which other faiths do not share, and the religion does not have a say in government. For a country which, up to this point, was built upon the Russian Orthodox Church, this was a rather shocking change of policy with many people could not agree with. In 1927, the church saw a new patriarch rise, Kirill, who has since been vehement in his crusade to amend the Fifth Article and grant the Church a prestigious status in the Russian Republic. Now that Kerensky's gone and new people are in charge, he has officially petitioned the government to amend the Constitution and elevate the Church to a status of a state religion. Gain 5% stability, add state orthodoxy, which grants daily political power cost 0.05 and recruitable population plus 10%, or just lose 5% stability. Nope, we will repeal Article 5, gives us some more recruitable population, and makes the Russian Church like us a little bit more. And Baron Stormen has lost. Does that mean that it is over? Creation of the International Avant-Garde. We'll do this one, and then we'll do local development and war preparations. This is it. Invest in the Siberian. All these 25 political power, and you have a chance of something good occurring. I'm actually going to hold my political power for right now. Fate of the Dvinsk Autonomous Region. After gaining control of the Dvinsk region, also known as Letgal, the Kerensky government established the Dvinsk Autonomous Region to appease the local Latvian and Latgalian inhabitants. The autonomous region took the politicians who were granted large discretion in dealing with local affairs. Throughout the post-war period, this has turned Liga into a haven for Latvian culture. It is where their partisans in the United Baltic Duchies organize secret supply chains and recruit volunteers as well. Now that our government has taken control of the country and seeks to centralize the state in Moscow, an opportunity arises to dismantle the Latvian autonomy and put the Dvinsk region under our direct rule. On the other hand, perhaps we should swallow our pride and leave the Latvians be. After all, right now, they are pretty compliant. They lose their region, or we lose, or keep the autonomous region and lose 1% stability. The Baltic state is under him, so direct rule from Moscow. Let's see, the Princely Federation can no longer afford to buy those rifles. Coming back over to Mongolia, see what's going on. Don't think the Baron will be able to take power. So we're actually going to move over to, let's see, Georgia. Svenoku in Bulgaria. Mongol aristocrats take Mongolia. That's usually what I see anyway. I don't know, the man has a little bit more, or they're on par with them. Ergen's generals escaped to Russia following the overthrow of Roman von Sternberg's government in Mongolia. He and many of his non-Mongolian associates were forced to flee the country. Ergen's generals, Mikhail Tornosvinsky, Nikolai Kazgrandi, and Boris Rezkun, were able to cross the border and escape to Irkutsk. They have written a letter to Peter Wrangel offering their services as general. Although he already have multiple high-class generals, the skills they've gained in Mongolia cannot be ignored. We welcome them. And let's keep going. National investment, do local development so we can actually do it with industry. Get Peter Wrangel as our chief of the army. He gives us army organization and 0.3 daily army experience gain, which is quite nice. need 5. Okay. Breakthrough. Now, in doing that, does not automatically upgrade your equipment, so you will have to manually do that. Mass for the Motherland, a small celebration dedicated to the prosperity of our motherland, has been performed yesterday in one of our towns. Even though it was very modest in scale and attendance, it attracts the conservative media's attention. Many common people consider this to be a visible sign of the church support for the motherland. A harmless yet useful ceremony gained 25 political power. Support for the Polish National Committee. The Russian-Polish relations is a stormy one, but there's one thing they can both agree on. Germany is their natural enemy. The principal has guided Roman Nominski's cooperation with Russians for almost half a decade now. Originally, the well-known Polish statesman headed the Polish National Committee for the Entente, but after the French and British revolutions, fate brought him to Moscow, the only Entente government still standing and continuing the fight against the German oppressors. An alliance was made. The Russians would support his underground fight against the German monarchy in Poland, and in exchange, his Poland would be an ally to Russia. His name and party, the National Democrats, commands enormous respect among the Polish right, one we can utilize to destabilize King August's monarchy to our own gain. Fund the Polish activists. This will strengthen the nationalists politically. Yes. We'll move these tankette divisions with my motorized over here. You all will form your own 24. $25, and that's good. All right, you, you, and you. There. All right. You all can go under Wrangel. You all can go under Denkin. The only reason I really don't like Denkin or Kornilov is because they've got that experience, leader experience gain negative 25%, where they're the old guard. And I just don't care for the old guard. Sergei Markov is our best general. He also has old guard, which isn't the greatest. But even though he's a tank commander, we'll put him in charge of infantry. Roman can go in charge of some infantry. You can go in charge of some infantry. And then there's one general, this guy, skilled staffer. He can, and then we'll put Alexander. And for my mountaineers, let's do Capel, because he has winter specialists and winter elites. All right, now these guys over here. Zhang is driven from Jinan. So the Nanjing clique's doing quite well, especially with the support of the Qing government. Capel falls ill. Liberals criticize the clergy. It seems the liberal elements of our society consider it rather unwise to maintain such strong bonds between the church and the state. During a small demonstration in the capital, they have demanded more religious pluralism and secularization in the government. Let them shout. Gain 25 political power. Radicals win the Serbian elections. Gross. The Kumal Khanate, the Xinjiang clique, have now went into a civil war. Greece joins the Belgrade Pact. So does Romania. And not really who I wanted to see, but the Schwarz-Weiß-Rot government in Germany, the black, white, and red government. Let's see. Coup d'etat in Algiers. So Henry Murdoch takes power. And then East Turkestan has now risen up, fighting against the Xinjiang clique. And then let's do the war preparations program. Floyd Olson elected president of the United States. Okay. I usually see the Democratic, or the coalition come about, but the ANI wins Italian elections. Spanish Civil War. What we can do, let's do Eastern, make a large investment in industrial in the region. So in 90 days, we can get something industrial. It does cost 30 political power, or 0.30 political power a day. Let's go a little bit early on the dispersed industries. The Kumal Khanate has fallen, so now it's the Xinjiang clique against East Turkestan. Liberal victory in Brazil. Come on, Peninsular Federations. Oh, probably because you have a backwards economy. Hetman Skoropadsky flees Ukraine. You got the People's Republic of Ukraine. Social Democrats. Not rare to see, but it's better for me. I'll give you infantry expert. Really bummed out about Mongolia here. Conscription crisis. Russian connections. We can also do that. This just helps with construction speed. We could start to go down our monarchist route. Really would like that extra research slot, to be honest with y'all. Should do realpolitik, gain some stability, and secure Central Asia. They'll do these two, restore the monarchy. I want you to start boosting ideology in Georgia. Nation Council. Oh, Admiral Kolchak murdered in the Transylvanian Republic. The leader of the 1925 coup, rogue Admiral Alexander Kolchak, was recently killed by his own soldiers during a military coup in his beloved state of Transylvanian Republic. A man of great ambitions, he had contested our rights through the Russian Republic until his last breath. With his death, our society becomes a bit more pacified. Nationalist coup in Bolivia. Be aggressive and be aggressive when it comes to attacking these guys. 1,400 trucks. Norway joins the Third International, and Sweden will turn around and join the Reichspakt. Fourth Balkan War is kicked off. We can Switch to somebody here. So we'll probably switch over to early mobilization. Staying off in America. Oh, so the 100th anniversary of Pushkin's death. Yesterday, a new monument built to commemorate one of Russia's greatest poets has been uncovered in our capital. The 100th anniversary of Pushkin's death is a chance to recall the great days of Russian history and culture, an act of paramount importance during these dark times of crisis and instability. We all love our poets. Game plus 2% stability. Collins holds on. Let's see what MacArthur can do. Fuel usage. More armor. Do something like that. Infrastructural improvements. Our local governor, appalled by the poor state of the roads in the region, has paid for the construction of new ones out of his own pocket. Over the past several weeks, laborers have put their shovels in the ground and helped to improve our infrastructure. The local papers may be praising his efforts, but it's ultimately the government in Moscow that reaps the benefits of this act of generosity. So for those 90 days, we got 3 infrastructure, which is not bad. Remove increased Zetsma investment, which we can turn right around and make a large investment again, and then fund the industrial in that region. So you just continue to do that all game. It never goes away. 25 political power for 90 days, and you can get some really good things. We will get 24 more steel and 20 more oil. Let's do the research investments, and then we will actually get rid of the paternal autocrats and take power with the Octoberists. Second American Civil War kicks off, which what looked like to me the Pacific states taking the largest amount of bounty there. Fall of New York City. Americans remain dominant in the Legation Council following the outbreak of the Second American Civil War. The Legation cities, heavily relying on American protection and influence, fell into a power vacuum. The Legation Council had to vote on a new High Commissioner to lead the mandate into the future. It seems they have chosen the incumbent American High Commissioner Nelson Trussell Johnson to stay in the role. Surely signals a renewed commitment to the open door policy within the cities, but what is unknown is how far the cities will go to secure their neutrality. We can support one side or the other. We'll hold off on supporting anybody. Hawaii joins the Entente. What can I send over here? Send my one group of fighters over here. Sending them spreads to the Philippines. The fall of Gibraltar. What we got? Yeah, my plane should be. What? The Carlists are starting to win a little bit more. See if the Carlists can keep that momentum up. I doubt it. Serbia capitulates. Peru, Bolivian Confederation. Gain that extra research slot. Come over here and do the constitutional monarchy. You might be asking why I'm not going with the paternal autocrats with the imperial glory. The reason I don't is, for one thing, I don't think you really don't get any really great bonuses, because you only get these two. With the constitutional monarchy, you actually get more stability, more political power gain. I just feel like this one grants you a lot more than the imperial glory does, research speed and everything like that. So let's jump into a constitutional monarchy. Full of Bucharest. International Congress. We should see their planes, the Greek planes, be destroyed. Can get a little bit more war support. Work with the land, huh? So they've done work with our territory. Crisis on the Danube. So the Austrian Empire and their small little groups are now going to war with Hungary. Ooh, the National Populace looks like they're taking a pretty big lead there. That's what we like to see in Poland. That's what we like to see. Increased arm production. This is what I'm talking about right here. So investments by local merchants in modernizing production methods have recently resulted in a large uptick in productivity, with goods filling store shelves at record speeds. We should also count ourselves lucky that the benefits of these investments are trickling down to the many of our state-run companies as well. More civilian goods are nice, but we're equally concerned with more pressing matters of state defense. So you get 3 military factories for 90 days. So excellent. And look at this. Right back at it. Now this is not foolproof. We'll make, and you guys can read what the investment debate is talking about. Because you can get it where you don't get anything. So you'll have to watch out a little bit, because it can turn around and bite you in the tuchus. Oh, the United States under MacArthur seems to be doing really, really well. The Rising Suns, Japan's announced her ambitions. And they're paternal autocrats as well. Stations. See, Princely Federation. Oh, they have no convoys. I also have no convoys though, or I have 50. See, now we have 45 civilian factories cooking up right now, with a bunch more to go. Well, it looks like Bulgaria has, on the Venetian revolt against the Italian state. Yeah, Germany is helping Bulgaria win that. Barati communes went to war against the Princely Federation. I can send you 3. Let me finish my war over here. Constitutional monarchy, we take over as Krill the First. And let's do realpolitik, secure Central Asia. This won't do really any good for us. Expansionism might be better. I think the base stability is just a lot better. Peru, Bolivia declared war. I don't know if tanks would be really any good over here. My mountaineers would probably be better. I just have to remove whatever this monstrosity of a unit is. Something like that. Doesn't have great organization. I think it's a lot less defense, of course. A lot more soft attack. Hopefully, yeah, it does kill our artillery. So hopefully it doesn't put us negative on artillery, but it does. Escalation 2. Looks like they're about to close that pocket there. Ma click the war, declared war, unclick that. And the Dominion of India moves against the Baradia Commune. Who's that? Hungary. Oh, well, yeah. Hungary's pretty much dead anyway, so. Bulgaria, though, keeping on the strength there. Active sonar. Hungary capitulates. You know what? I'm going to jump to partial mode. Get this over with. Excuse me. Realpolitik will be about done, and then we can jump. You're raising paternal autocracy down here. I think. Oh, they did stand by. Germany. Over here in Poland, the national populists have lost a lot of what their boosts. And then we will do secure Central Asia. We'll take you. And trying to think of where I should put them. Probably Ukraine, trying to make a collaboration government. Yeah, the United States is doing pretty well. Infrastructure improvement. Yeah, not the best, but certainly not the worst. Which I don't think they like me anymore. Not nearly as much. So we can choose Quentin Roosevelt, or we can choose Douglas MacArthur. I don't like MacArthur personally, but let's do North, make a large investment, fund industrial. The combined syndicalists are being slaughtered. Oh, Canada is supporting the federal government, that's why. That makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. My click is starting to beat Mongolia back. What? And Tibet? Pick one revolt. Liberals criticize the clergy again. Guangzhou Federalist government's announced. It looks like they're peace. Alright, we are now at war. also start to seek allies. First things first, push and push. Oh, look at that. The only troops they have is up over here. Then I would like to motorize partially. What's a full motorization looking like? Yeah, we got enough. East Turkestan delegation requests support. The East Turkestan delegation arrived this morning, requesting our support for their independence war against the Xinjiang clique. How should we respond? We can provide them with weapons and gold on a regular basis as full support, or just once as partial support, or don't support them at all. We'll provide some full support. East Turkestan likes us a lot more. Team has gone to war. Boris has fallen ill. The Prince of Federation is starting to push him back. You guys going? New council. They have to be. I hope you unite the princes. I always think that this is probably the better route. Well, maybe not. I guess not. Not for them. Actually, we'll cancel, because what we'll do is once we take over Alashorda and all of these territories down here, we'll just send them the rifles we get from this. I don't care about the couple of thousand rifles I'm about to receive from this. Pause. Put you here in Kiev. Have you aim like that. Put all of my large army here. And aim south like that. Immediately go. Immediately go. Portugal joins the Entente. Fall of Lahore. I think I mispronounced that, but the Dominion of India is getting pushed back pretty hard right now. A little ahead of time, that's okay. Which over here, there's been a naval invasion, probably by Australia. Usually who we see the naval invasions through. Argentina can no longer forward. And Romans fallen ill. I'm gonna crack up with Mongolia. Seek allies. Let's do a new constitution, give us some more. Assimilate Alash into our territory. Try to see what we got going on. Easy maintenance, or maintenance companies. Sergei Marikov falls ill. I think speed's probably the best. I don't really care about mine lane. Having a faster submarine, I think, is a little bit better. Breakthrough, reliability, armor, hardness. Ooh, what? I gotta remember, yeah, we'll switch that over to our cavalry division. Switch you up and give you military police. There we go. troops are just tearing through them right now. Structural improvements. Man, we're really kind of coming up swinging and missing on this time. I don't think as long as I've been around that I've gotten this many infrastructure. Italian Civil War resumes. The Italian state. Said Kiva had no rifles. I don't know if I believe that or not, but I might not have. Gain 10% war support. Let's do that. Bukhara is about to fall. Turkestan Republic fell. And Bukhara is about to capitulate. Oh, nope. Change you to blue. I like that pink. They'll end up winning that. And I guess it's a support of the federal government. Japan and Ireland supporting you. I think it's supported by Sardinia. Romania capitulates. Walensky falls ill. And so that's taken care of. Let's aim at knocking out you at some point, and let's see. Send volunteers. We can send 3. Prayers for the Czar. A mass dedicated to our beloved ruler has been organized in the capital. The Patriarch has officially invited the Czar and members of his family to take part in the ceremony. Gained 30 political power, which is very nice. I think we'll be fighting mostly in mountains and plains. Forests. Right here, we'll just send our mountaineers. Send mountaineers, send air wing. Going to Hyperbad. I know we're going a little bit over our time right now, but we will do you 3. Assimilate, give it a little bit more time because and Bakura, assimilate. New constitution, devoted subjects. Might be able to air superiority here. Doesn't look like the enemy has any planes anyway. But with that, we're going to end episode 1 of our Russian Empire playthrough in Kaiserreich. I hope you guys have enjoyed. and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.